What's really good in your dollyhood, pretty people? It's Gypsy once again on Broken Dolly TV. We're gonna get back into looking at some hair of dolls that came with updos or intricate hairstyles. And I just want to show you guys how their hair actually looks when it's removed from those styles. So we've already done a couple episodes of this. If you are unfamiliar with this, you want to look at my playlist that's all about hair, and you can see the other episodes of different dolls that I showed you guys. And I will have the playlist linked in the description if you guys want a quick way to find it when you're done watching this video. Today we're going to take a look at 4 dolls, so I'll be sure to try and give you guys the original doll IDs so that you can track these dolls down if you're interested in adding them to your own collection, or if you want to see if you have one of these dolls in your stash that you done forgot all about and you want to pull their hair down to do something different with it, then you'll be able to match them up to the IDs that I'm going to give you guys. And for those of you who are just curious like me about facial sculpts, I'll also put the name of each doll's sculpt up on the screen so you guys will be able to take note of that as well. All right, let's start with our first victim. This dude right here. This is the Barbie Looks Ken from the first wave, and his sculpt name is John. And out of the box, he already came with like twists. I think his hair was in twists when we first got him. Now, I removed all of the twists, and I'll show you how the hair is rooted in the head. He does have flocking all around, and his hair is only rooted here in the middle section in the front. I'm really not a fan of his root job. See, now it doesn't want to cooperate with me, but I'm telling y'all, he's got like just gaping holes of bald spots in his head that irk me to no end, and I'm really not a fan of the way that they did his hair. Like, I can't really part his hair any way I want because you're always gonna see his scalp from any direction that I part it in. The hair is looking real scarce up in the scalp towards the front of the head. It's just not attractive, okay? He got too much hair on his head. Like, it's too long for it to be this many bald spots all up in his head. But what am I gonna do about it? So short of rerooting it, of course, there's not much you can do. And this material that his hair is made out of, it's definitely not saran. It almost feels like loose yarn or like mohair if you handled mohair. I don't think that it is that. It just feels like it. You know, it's like really soft and like fluffy and lightweight and just kind of has no weight to it. It's fugly, okay? I don't like his hair at all. This version of John, who I call Iro, he is not on his original body. He is on a spray painted body that I custom made, but I don't really use this body because the paint chips at the joints. So the parts that chipping, like for me, I'm just looking at it like, you know, like maybe he has vitiligo, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. See his finger, like it's a little bit lighter on one side. So I don't mind it right now, but this is also not a doll that I customarily display much. I'm not a fan of this doll. I just don't like his hair mostly. It's not his face. I think he's got a nice face. I want to do some customizing to his face. I already gave him a couple of like moles on his face, but I think I'm gonna add facial hair and just do like a new hairline for him or something. I don't know. I think I gave him like a really faint hairline, but I really do want to give him some. What the freak? Did I already give you facial hair? I don't know what I was doing with this doll. I just know I don't be displaying him like that. I kind of see like a faint outline of some facial hair that I think I was trying to give him, but like I don't know what happened. Did I just give up halfway? Because it's barely noticeable. So there's a bunch of customizing that I want to do to this guy, but I just wanted to show you guys the state of this hair when you take it down. Like, honestly, I do not recommend. And I also straightened this hair too. I forgot to mention this hair's texture isn't like this as soon as you take the braids out or the twist. I literally straight ironed this hair to make it like this. So unless you're gonna do something with it, like you got a style in mind, you're not just experimenting to see where it goes, I do not recommend messing with his hair too much. If you were just gonna tie it back up into a bun after you took it out and you just want the hair texture to be just loose, okay, that makes sense. Or if you're gonna re-root his hair so that it's like better quality saran or something, then I would say have at it. Like if you want to give him a little mohawk or something like that, then maybe you could try to take the hair down. But that's just me personally. I don't see myself doing much with this hair in the state that it's in. It's very annoying for me to handle, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I just wanted to show it to you guys so you understand, like, this is what you're working with, okay? It's gonna be a lot of gaping spots up in this hair, and the texture is not very cooperative. So if you're trying to like make it lay a certain way, well, good luck. You're gonna have to put some products or something in this hair to make it do that. And I don't really know if I even like him with long hair. Like, I was so tempted to chop the hair off, but my husband said to keep it long, and I was like, why? And he just said, well, it's just like an unusual hair texture and look for a guy with his features. It's cool. And I'm like, whatever. He's a man, so I'm gonna take his opinion into consideration coming from like a guy. I guess he has his own perspective, but just in my head, I felt like he would look much better with shorter hair than this. So I don't know. I might still end up cutting it later just to see how it looks, because right now his hair get on my damn nerves, and that's part of the reason why I do not display this doll much. What is that noise? Oh my god. Next, we have Zazie. Zazie originally was one of them holiday dolls. Zazie is actually a birthday wishes Barbie. She's from the 2017 series. You can see her here in the background. There were a few that came out that year, and she is the one that has the Carnaval head sculpt, also known as the Leanne Rimes head sculpt. She actually was a gift from my homeboy Tevin. I could not find her no place. I think he sent her to me when I was living in Carolina. So she's one of my little treasures. I love the dolls that are sent to me by my viewers, because I feel like I have a little piece of you guys here with me every day that I can look at, even when I'm not actively making videos, or like see you guys in the comment section. It's really cool. But yeah, so Zazie was one of those girlies. She actually had a high ponytail, a little loop-de-loop bang. What is that noise? I'm being so distracted right now. I hear this ringing from somewhere and I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's from outside or in my house. Is it an appliance? Can y'all hear that? Beep. That's what it sounds like. Oh my god, it's so aggravating. Anyway, let me try to ignore it. Oh my gosh. Breathe. All right. Zazie had a high ponytail, and I ended up taking it down, restyling her hair. It was longer. It was like down to maybe down to here-ish. But I gave her a shorter haircut with layers in it because I just wanted to do something different with the hair. I felt like I had too many dolls with that same hair length and style. And Zazie is a carnaval sculpt, which I already have. Yeah, I had two other ones already. Oh, I know what that is. Oh my god. You guys, I'm bugging. Y'all know I just moved to Oklahoma State, right? So every weekend at noon, they run the tornado alarms in the neighborhood everywhere, like all over the state. And it's just like mad loud. So that's what that was. Oh my god. If there was a real tornado and I heard that, I don't think I would leave. I'd probably be like, what is that noise? It's so aggravating. Put on some headphones and just go do something else. Oops. My bad. Okay, well, it was a false alarm. All right, it stopped finally. Thank you, Lord. Girl, I thought I was bugging. I was like, what the hell? Am I hearing things? What is that noise? I'm like, can you guys hear it?
Stop being distracted, Gypsy. Get to work.
Okay, so Zazie's hair, we restyled her hair. She came with the baby hairs already. What? Thank you, Mattel. She's got, you know, the usual saran texture hair. This one a little tricky because, like I said, a lot of times with the dolls that have the really high ponytails, their hair is just rooted in a way where it's like really difficult to get the hair to lay flat. But with this haircut, I don't mind that her hair lifts slightly. It's not too distracting. I can still style her hair in different ways. I can tie it up in a ponytail if I want. Like, I didn't want it to be so short I couldn't tie it up if I felt like it. So I can still tie her hair up. I haven't tried to do that. I don't like to tie my doll's hair because they often have dents in them when I take the elastic out, unless the ponytail is like very loose. So I try not to mess with it too much. But if I really needed to, if I really wanted to, if my doll is just having like a straight up bad hair day, then I'll usually just end up putting it into a ponytail. or a bun to disguise it until I can spend time actually styling the hair properly. So that's what we did here, all right? So this is another doll that was gifted to me by one of you guys, Debs from Texas. Hi, Debbie. This doll was originally Thai Barbie from, I believe, the Dolls of the World series. I think she came out in 1997. Shout out to my Thai people. And she has a Kira head sculpt, also known as Nico. So I named her new one. The old Kiras and the new Kiras, I'm telling you, there's a difference in the sculpt. Like, this face has more depth to it than the newer Kira dolls that are very flat compared to these sculpts. So their eyes almost feel like they're like deeper in the skull than the newer ones are. I don't know if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say, but there is a difference. The shape of the face has more angles in it, like the cheekbones are more defined. It's just a little bit more definition to the sculpt. She's one of those, and you can also see from her makeup style, like the face up that she has, the more cartoony kind of face up, that this is like an older doll. Her hair was in like some kind of like ponytail bun type of thing because she had a headdress on, and the headdress was the focal point of the hairstyle. Her hair is, I want to call this, is this like nylon, kanekalon maybe? It's not like a regular saran texture. It's very straight. I did have to manipulate this hair with heat to get it to lay like this. It's just super, super, super straight, but very lightweight too at the same time. It's like that fluffy kind of hair that will just fly all over the place if you're not careful with it. This hair length is its original length. When it was in the original style, it almost looks like her hair is cut into layers, and I didn't do that. This is just the way that her hair was already cut. That's kind of interesting to me. As far as the rooting goes, when you part the hair, I mean, you can see her scalp because it's not black. It should be painted black, which maybe some other time I might go in and do that myself, but I'm not really concerned with it because I don't part her hair in any particular manner for you to actually be able to see it. And I haven't really tried tying her hair up into different styles yet, so I'm not super concerned with it. But like here in the front, for example, this is the part that I would probably end up painting before the back, so that when her hair is moving around in the front, you don't see scalp. But that doesn't mean that it's because it's not rooted properly. That has more to do with the actual scalp coloring, because usually Mattel will dye the doll's scalp a certain color to match the hair to camouflage those spots a little bit better, and they just didn't end up doing that with this doll because, like I said, she's like a collectible doll, and her hairstyle was such that the headdress that she had on was more of the focal point, so you probably weren't supposed to see her scalp anyway, because like most people wouldn't have taken her hair down, you know? Even though I have a lot more like adult collector type signature kind of dolls in my collection, my collectible dolls ain't bougie like that, so like, you're not more special because you're a collectible doll, in my opinion. So you get the same treatment everybody else gets, okay? If I want to look at your hair in a different style, then I'm gonna take it down. That's just what ended up happening with the one. Yeah, so that's an easy fix. Just going in with a little bit of acrylic paint and just painting the scalp with a tiny little brush, and then it'll just blend right in and it won't be distracting when you see her scalp showing a little bit. This is the kind of hair where like I'll probably end up putting like a hat on, or I'll give her like a headband or some kind of like accessory to camouflage that her hair doesn't want to lay a specific way. I think this hair suits her. It makes her look kind of like sophisticated. Does she have a side glance? Doesn't she look like she's looking to the side, sort of? Is it just me? Is she supposed to be? I'm not sure. I never really paid attention to which way her eyes were looking until just now. Anyways, so that's new one. I love her. She kind of looks like my mom. Speaking of my mom, the last one that I want to show you guys is this one. This is Sora. Sora is originally a princess of the Korean court doll, I think that was the name. Her hair is massively long, though in her original hairstyle, it was like a braided updo, and the hairstyle she came with is actually a very traditional Korean hairstyle. Like I be telling y'all over and over again, I don't know why some of our black doll collectors love to gatekeep braided hairstyles like we invented braids or something, but that is not true. In traditional Korean culture, Women often, almost always, wore their hair in braids. We very rarely would wear our hair out, even though they had tons of hair and it's naturally straight hair. So you would think that they would have just been like, you know, letting their hair blow in the breeze and all of this stuff. But back in those days, your hair got in your way. People were doing manual labor, working in fields. They had clothes that had very many layers to it. So your hair being loose was like, why? Like, it didn't make any practical sense for your hair to be loose. So very often you saw women with their hair tied up into braids and buns and pinned up in all these intricate designs so that it looked pretty without it getting in the way. And very often women would wear their hair in just like a one long braid going back on their heads as well. So these are like very customary traditional Korean hairstyles with the braids, okay? That being said, this princess doll came with this huge crown of braids on her head. I was so intimidated to take this hair down. Like, I knew if I mess this up, I'm gonna have to put this hair back the way that it was. And so I actually took pictures of each stage of taking the hair down just in case I ran into like a giant bald spot in her head and I was gonna end up having to put it back. She's the only doll I've ever had that hairstyle, so I don't know if I could duplicate it with any other dolls. I don't even know where the pictures went that I took. I just remember taking them, so I'll have to go through my stash of photos to see if I can find them, just in case I end up wanting to do it again. But I probably won't do it with this doll. I'll probably end up trying it with a completely different doll, like maybe with Romy here, who has the rainbow colored hair and she's got like super long hair that's down to her knees. Maybe I would try it with some doll like that. My fear with this doll when I took her hair down wasn't just that I would like not like the way that the hair looked, because I wasn't sure what the length of her hair was or if all of her hair was the same length. It was also my concern that she would have sparse rooting or just straight up like a bald spot. I have a doll like that she had like a really pretty high ponytail that was textured, and then when I took the hair down, it was just like literal baldness. Her entire middle of her head was bald and only around the edges did she have hair. I was so disappointed because I really loved the head sculpt, but I was just like, never again. So that doll, I don't even know where her head is. Like, she's just waiting for me to do something with her. Yeah, and I didn't want that same experience with this doll, so I was afraid to take it down, but I did it anyways, very carefully, and the length that I ended up with is down to her knees, which is pretty impressive. All these waves in her hair, this is from the braids being taken down, and shockingly, she didn't have massive gaping bald spots in her scalp. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe that they were able to manage that hairstyle with this doll, and like, what? She doesn't have bald spots? It was unbelievable. And you can see here that the parts of her scalp you can see, it is shaded to match her hair, so it's not too noticeable. I don't think they did that on the top of her head, did they? Oh, they did it everywhere. So that was impressive, the detail that they paid attention to with this doll. I was thoroughly shocked. And because she didn't have all of these bald spots, once I took her hair down, I was like, get it, girl. Like, we about to rock this long hair. So I have kept her hair just like this. I didn't boil wash it. I didn't do anything to this doll's hair. I haven't even brushed her hair. I just took out the braids and just let it lay whatever way it was gonna lay. And this is how it ended up. I think I did end up swapping her onto a made-to-move body at one point, because her original body has arms that are bent at the elbows, just the way that the costume that she was in, the way you're supposed to like pose the doll, her hands are supposed to be like tucked underneath the front of the top. So I didn't really want her to like always be standing that way because I knew I was going to redress her. So I ended up putting her on a made to move for like about 10 minutes or something, just long enough for me to get some like pictures of her or whatever. I needed that body for a different doll. This is just a strictly display doll for me. The reason why I don't really have like a personality in my head for Sora, like as a character, is because you guys don't have to agree. When I look at her, she just looks spaced out. Like, she looks like she's just staring off into nowhere, having a daydreaming session. She's just got these dead eyes, in my opinion. I feel like she doesn't have like self-awareness almost, the way she looks. She looks like a mannequin to me. She just looks like a mannequin. So I did end up naming her. Sora means snail in Korean. I know that sounds really weird to name a person snail, but it's actually a very common name for girls in Korea. Sora has like a very pretty sound to it. So even though it means snail, it's like, it's okay. It's not just like a regular snail though, it's like a sea snail specifically. So it's a pretty sounding name in Korean language, and a lot of girls have that name. Even though she's named in my mind like she doesn't have consciousness. She's not like a real person. She's like a mannequin at a shopping center. You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense what I'm saying, you guys? I know, it's like kind of weird, but that's just how I see her. She's not really a person. I vouch for this hair. I mean, you can style it any way you want. You can do whatever you want. You can probably even straighten this hair and it'll probably look really nice. The texture to me, I think this is saran hair. It's just a very, very lightweight hair. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the same kind of hair texture as my doll Esperanza. She is the Frida Kahlo doll. Yeah, I took that doll's hair down too, and I showed you guys her hair in a previous episode of the series. And the texture of that doll's hair is very similar to this. It might be even the same kind of material. So if that gives you some idea, it's not like super smooth and tangle-free kind of saran. Like this saran back here, it feels different than this. It got a little bit more coarseness to it, but I'm pretty sure this is still saran hair. So I don't know, that's just how it feels to me. I'm just telling you like the sensation on my fingertips when I'm like touching it. Yeah, so I hope this was interesting for you guys to see. Let me know if you have any of these dolls in your own collection. I think a lot of you guys have at least him. And if you've been wondering about what their hair is like underneath their ponytails and braids, well, now you know. So you can decide if you want to be brave and take their hair down and restyle it to your liking, or if you like, girl, shoot, better you than me, I'm glad I didn't mess with this doll's hair, and you have no plans whatsoever of switching up the styles on your doll's head. And once again, shout out and thank you to my viewers, Debbie and Tevin, who sent me these dolls years ago. They're still being loved and treasured in my collection, as all of my other dolls that you guys give me are. And I don't always show them, but they're here. They have their special places in my collection being doted on. So thank you guys so much for helping me to expand my collection by sending me those. That's it for me today. I'll see you guys in the next one. If I have another gathering of dolls whose hair were in these intricate styles and I took them down, then I'll be sure to show them to you guys once I gather up another batch of them for you. That's it for me. This is Broken Dolly TV. I'm Gypsy and you're not, but that's fine because we still can just go have a dolly day.